Okay, so we are looking at another law of health. It is exercise. Exercise, that's what we're looking at. The curse causeless shall not come, Proverbs chapter 26, verse 2, part B. And disease never comes without a what? Without a cause. And so whenever we see disease, we need to look for the cause because it is an effort of nature to free the system from conditions that result from the violation of the laws of health. And so what are the laws of health? They are pure air, sunlight, abstemiousness, rest, exercise, proper diet, the use of water, trust in divine power. These are the true remedies. These are the true remedies. So if you think back in the Bible, in Genesis, where we can read about the beginning of time, exercise was very much present in a law of health that Adam practiced. We're told that the Lord God took man and placed him, he put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And that was a lot of good physical activity that Adam had to be engaged in. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Isaiah 40:31. And so we need to be fit and ready as we give the gospel. We need to be fit and ready to even make good use of the blessings that the Lord has provided for us. And so many of us would have beautiful gardens like these that we can attend to when the day comes, or it might be food crops that you are attending to. So what exactly is exercise? Exercise is the physical exertion of the body that results in expenditure of energy, and that in the long term it enhances or manifests fitness and health. So you are expending your energy in a way that will promote and show up itself in the result in terms of fitness and health. There are 12, basically about 12 body systems in our body, and they all correlate with each other. So you may have heard about the circulatory system, a digestive system, as we spoke about in our last lecture, the endocrine, the integumentary, and the list goes on. Respiratory system, reproductive, all those are important systems. The thing is that they all correlate to each other. None of them are dependent in and of itself. And so when we look at the body in total, we can say like the psalmist that I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. So our entire body has a coordinated, integrated way that allows us to maintain optimal health. Now this statement here is one that I love in this presentation, and you will hear me repeat it. A single bout of exercise profoundly changes the function of most of our body system. So get started. A single bout of exercise would profoundly change the function of most of our body systems. Just get moving. It's hugely, it has a huge impact on the body. So question number 3, the immediate changes in the body in response to exercise. What are some of the immediate things that you can see when you begin to exercise? So you find that there's an increased enzyme reaction. So if you have digestive issues, get moving, get physically active, begin an exercise program tomorrow. Start moving. It helps with digestion and all the indigestion and digestive aches and pains that you may have had. It would be greatly improved. Then you have nerve stimulation. So folks who have the tinglings in their hands and in their feet, exercise. Metabolic enhancement, brain increased feelings of alertness and focus, concentration. Fatigue, if exercise is prolonged, then you can become fatigued. You have a release of endorphins, hormones, and neurotransmitters that tend to get released. And then you have, other kinds of hormones to get you going. One of the things I'd like to point out here, fatigue if exercise is prolonged. There are some folks who would not have a problem at all if you were to talk about exercise. They would say, I love exercising. And they may, in fact, be over exercising. And that is also another situation where one could be overly exercising. Again, everything should be done temperately. And you run a risk if you over exercise. That means you do too much in short spaces of time repeatedly. And you could wear out the body, make the body really fatigued, tired, wearing out your muscles and your joints, and to the point where it works against you. There's some people who will over exercise and lower their immune system, who will over exercise, and other body functions, other body systems that we just talked about would not function properly. I have a lot of ladies who are athletes, and so they are physically active. But if it's too much for the body, their reproductive system does not function well, and they're concerned about it. So you do have, you exercise, but you don't overdo. And so during exercise, you find that the muscle fibers, when contract and release, you help improve your nerve responses and your muscle responses. And then your heart pumps more rapidly. Your lungs tend to work harder to get more oxygen into the body. So physical activity is important. The World Health Organization actually said that 3.2 million deaths each year, approximately 3.2 million deaths each year, are attributable to insufficient physical activity. In fact, they go on to say that it is one of the 10 leading risk factors for death worldwide. So insufficient physical activity is affecting lots of people. And it's what I call one of the COVID diseases, poor blood circulation. Because with the COVID-19, you are at home. You're not going out. In fact, some folks think it's a hard thing to go out and exercise, and worse yet, you have to put on the mask if you're in a populated area. And then you may be at home, you may be working from home, or you're at home doing studies, and you're not having sufficient physical activity, furthermore, exercise. And it's like the COVID disease, this poor blood circulation inactivity. And it is one that was plaguing the world before COVID, and even now, I am sure that it is worse. And several large studies have repeatedly shown that those engaging in regular physical activity, so not just spasmodic, but you got to be consistent with your physical activity, or those who have increased their fitness, have a reduced risk of death from all causes. You know what that means? You reduce your risk of death from diabetes, high blood pressure, high blood cholesterol, arthritis, and uh, other kinds of mental illness or Parkinson's disease, all cause death from all causes. So that physical activity impacts all diseases and has a positive effect on them. And when we do have a regular physical activity, we actually reduce our risk of dying sooner than later. So, what exactly is physical activity that we're talking about? How could we define it? We're told that physical activity is defined as any bodily movement produced by your skeletal muscles that results in energy expenditure. Another, the American College of Sports Medicine magazine goes on to say that any bodily movement produced by skeletal muscles that results in energy expenditure above resting levels. So you are expending your energy above resting levels. You're moving your muscles. That is physical activity. So right now I'm sitting and I'm talking to you and I'm moving my hands and all of that. Those bodily gestures, but it is sedentary. I'm not moving sufficient muscles and so forth. And so that, folks can act. Let me show you some examples as we go into this. Little heads up here that exercise is a subset of physical activity. So all exercise can be considered physical activity, but not all physical activity can be considered exercise. So there are times when you talk to individuals about, okay, exercise. Oh, I get enough of that. I'm always back and forth. I'm always up and down the steps. I'm always walking around the house. I'm busy all day. By nighttime, I'm tired. Yes, you are. I agree. You say you're tired, you're fine. You're tired. But you may not have had sufficient physical activity to exercise your muscles, to increase your heart rate, those things that would help the body. So exercise is characterized as planned, structured, repetitive, and is carried out for the purpose of improving or maintaining physical fitness or health. So the question you ask yourself, what is the total amount of time spent in any physical activity in my day? And how often do you engage in physical activity and how intensely? And that's a personal question. Are we sitting more than we are moving when the day comes? And if that's the case, then we can have some issues. And so physical activities are generally classed as being of light, moderate, or vigorous intensity. For health benefits, what are we looking for? Health benefits. You need moderate to vigorous intense physical activity that is recommended. So in order to have the needle go forward on improvement, when we look at ourselves for health, to improve our health, we need moderate to vigorous, intense physical activity. And so that moderate activity, so light will be considered like sedentary. Moderate would be you have light sweating or modestly increasing your breathing. And then vigorous activity is that which is sufficiently intense to cause sweating and or heavy breathing or increases your heart rate. So just about there between moderate and vigorous is where you want to be when it comes to your physical activity. during the day. And there's a science behind all this that would take away some of the wonder in our minds. So if you were asking yourself, am I doing enough? Let's have a look. This was actually, it's a sports uh, article that did this, a sports facility that did this research, and they looked at metabolic equivalent of task, MET. So it's a way in which you can measure the amount of energy that you expend when you are at rest, relaxed, and moving. So when you are at rest, relaxed, and or when you are moving. So if you are at rest and relaxed, you will have a count of 1. And then by the time you start increasing that, you can go to moderate. That might have anywhere between 3 to 6 points. And if you get intense physical activity, your reading will be 6 points and over. So when they actually measure the effect on the body, and against the energy that is expended, what kinds of activities can we look at in our daily lives to see how much energy is expended in doing that activity on an average for an average person, and then how does that impact the body. So if you're sleeping or at rest, that is like between 0 to 1. You're not moving, you're just sitting there watching television, you're in a vehicle being transported, you're at the computer, you're sitting, you're reading, you're writing, you're eating, or you're talking on the telephone. Your mouth is moving, but you are at rest essentially. Very minimal, 0 to 1 on a measure scale of physical activity. It's light, it's at rest. Then you have light physical. So the video games where you might be moving your hands and your arms, you're stretching to reach something in the home, your upper body exercise, Pilates and yoga, not that we're promoting that, but just showing you that stretching and exercise, mopping, cleaning, dusting, polishing, washing dishes, cooking. Folks say I'm on my feet all day, but I'm washing the clothes, doing the ironing, cooking, washing the dishes, but it is light physical activity. You could feel fatigued, tired at the end of the day, but the amount of energy that was expended in those tasks is considered to be light when you look at the kind of impact for health that it can have on your body. So watering the plants, good. Playing music. If you're a chef, you're on the golf field, good. But it is light physical activity. So you go to moderate. What are some of the things? If you're moving furniture, you're doing a brisk walking, you're sweeping, that big movement. Gardening and yard work can be considered moderate. Playing with the dog, playing with your children, washing and waxing the car, playing a game of volleyball, resistance training, rowing, fishing, painting outside, construction can be considered moderate physical activity. Again, these activities and how does it impact the body for health. When it comes to intense physical activity, you're looking at more than a brisk walk. You're looking at hiking, jogging, running. The basketball players, the soccer football players, that's intense physical activity. Swimming, bicycling, skip, jumping rope, farming in a big way where you're farming with plants and you're raking and so forth. And then chopping wood, shoveling, digging, that is intense. And you can find this and more. There's a whole lot more on a website called Compendium of Physical Activities. And that's the name of the website, Compendium of Physical Activities. And there's a whole long list. So just to show you that There are times when we think, oh, we're physically active, but are you really? And what we want is to make sure that we're engaging in activity that can improve our health. When it comes to sedentary behavior, it is defined as any walking activity characterized by an energy expenditure that is less than 1.5 on that MET scale, and as and a sitting or reclining posture. It requires very low energy expenditure. So basically, sedentary behavior is when you have a very low energy expenditure. It's on a low scale. And so those who are engaged in sedentary occupations should, if possible, walk out in the open air every day, summer and winter. And this is on councils on temperance and Bible hygiene, page 100, paragraph 5, that did identify that there are some occupations that are sedentary. And if you have such an occupation, you can walk out in the open air every day, summer and winter. So even if you're a teacher and you're in front of a class and you are standing one spot, sedentary. But if you keep moving back and forth and have them follow you with their eyes, and you're moving back and forth in the front of the class and walking down the aisles and so forth, you keep moving. You will be increasing your physical activity. It might be light, but it is still movement, better than not at all. And so here are some of them, as we mentioned earlier: reading a book, television watching, etc. So sedentary behavior is an independent risk factor for certain chronic diseases and is therefore considered separately to physical activity, body weight, and diet. Sedentary behavior, you have chronic diseases that can lead to morbidity and mortality in adults. It's linked to death in adults. And a sedentary child is likely to become a sedentary adult. You can be considered both physically active and sedentary at the same time. So you, by sitting and you're gesturing and you're moving your upper body, it's basically being sedentary, but you think that you're physically active because you're moving your hands and your head and you're talking on the phone away to your friend. But if you look, lots of the chronic diseases has somewhere along the line where individuals may be sedentary. And if the children don't grow up, and sometimes child wants to go out and play, no, stay inside, stay inside. Let them get out, let them move out. You go out with them, you play with them, you walk with them, you get them to love movement, because the time they hit teenage age and getting up there into young adulthood, they will want to sit in all the time, and you'll be trying your best now to pull them out, and it can lead to lots of illnesses. So the American Heart Association has actually made a sedentary lifestyle as its fourth major coronary heart disease risk factor, joining with cigarette smoking, hypertension, and high blood cholesterol levels. So among those, as its fourth high risk factor, is a sedentary lifestyle. And they've thought that even if people were to exercise at least 30 minutes a day, that would make a difference. And so they have some measures there. But from what we see as we work with individuals, is for optimal health, they need to get up to more than 30 minutes. So here are some tips for reducing a sedentary behavior. If you have a desk job, set an alarm to remind yourself to get up every hour. Simply walking to the water cooler or to a photocopier machine can help. Just get up, walk around on the floor, and then come back. Just move. Uh, Target the whole family to get to reduce their sedentary behavior. You know, go do physical activities together as a family. It would be encouraging. And then you ensure a reduction in one sedentary habit. Just cut it down, cut it out, and and replace it with some physical activity. And if you can walk to destinations, walk instead of drive or taking a ride. So we want to exercise regularly. What benefits do we get from regular exercise? It reduces the risk of cardiac disease. It reduces the risk of death from cardiovascular disease by 50%. It reduces high blood pressure. It reduces the risk of a stroke by 25 to 30%. Regular exercise can help you to, number 10, regular exercise can help you to grow new blood vessels. Grow new blood vessels in your muscles, allowing greater capacity for blood flow and thus increased capacity for activity. So individuals who have poor blood circulation, we need to get up and walk. Increase the activity levels, and use fat as a source of fuel. So get up and move, and you find the legs would be strengthened. And sometimes some folks say, I can't walk an hour. That's okay. You walk for as much as you can comfortably do. Your goal, however, is to make 1 hour of continuous walking, and you keep pushing the body, keep pressing on it every week. Just increase it by 5 minutes, increase it by 5 minutes, and you will see that your legs will become stronger. It grows new blood vessels, supplying more blood supply and helping to give relief to the body. Resistance exercise, such as lifting weights, will result in increased strength over time. So you want to strengthen your bones and your joints and due to increased growth in muscle. So physical activity for prevention and reversal of disease. It is a global health pandemic. A global health problem, and where you have physical activity that can cause millions of deaths each year. And so we're hitting the COVID, it is deadly if folks don't get attended to in the right way, in the right time. But physical activity has been with us for a long time and kills people every year. It's just that it's not written on the death certificate, died from lack of physical activity. So the evidence shows that the effectiveness of regular physical activity at preventing both primary and secondary diseases, as well as premature death, is irrefutable. It applies to all ages and includes people even with disabilities that they may not be able to move as they should. And physical activity is very helpful. It's good at preventing disease. One single episode of physical activity causes major changes in the physiology of body organs. One single episode can make a huge difference. Our bodies has the ability to change shape, size, and function capacity and in a response to physical activity. But it must be repeated, it must be consistent. And that is the key, just not once a month. No, that's not what we're talking about. once a month for the entire day physical activity. That should be good. No way. We want it to be repeated every day. And in order to increase fitness, we need to push the cardiovascular, respiratory, and musculoskeletal systems to work harder. So there is this adage, use it or lose it. A sedentary lifestyle is a direct route to an earlier grave. So one of the things that when training ceases, detraining effect can be seen. So you may say, I used to walk, I used to exercise every day. Earlier this year, before the COVID started, I used to exercise every day. I was so fit. Good. But when you stopped, you actually started to regress in the benefits that that physical activity had on the body. And so we need to get back there. When you stop, you diminish, it rolls back, and you need to keep it going forward. So get walking forward and keep improving forward in your health. Exercise is good also for our bone and muscle health. The activity in question, however, must be such that force is transmitted through the bone. Jumping will be more beneficial than swimming. One of the things you find is that when the feet hits the ground, it triggers the absorption of calcium, thus strengthening the bone. So you need weight-bearing activities to strengthen your bones. And the walking, that's why if you walk, that's better than swimming. Swimming would move the upper arms and so forth and build those upper arm muscles. But you're not stepping, you're not walking, and you find that reduced calcium uptake in the blood, reduced impact activity and exercises can make your bones weak and brittle, and they're not as strong as they used to be. And you do feel the difference. It's because you don't have that impact. So when you walk, that heel hits the ground, the feet hits the ground, and it increases calcium absorption in your body. So if you have weak bones, you can be taking as much calcium supplement as you think of, or sesame seeds, which is great in calcium, but you also need the walking. You also need vitamin D um, to help with strengthening those bones. Now, exercise and type 2 diabetes. Exercise is most effective at preventing against type 2 diabetes. So if it is that you have diabetes type 2, I tell folks you can walk away from diabetes, literally walk away from it. It's because when 1 hour of continual walking is equivalent to 20 units of insulin, 1 hour of continuous walking. So as individuals walk, they actually help with lowering their blood sugar levels. It has an immediate and prolonged effect on blood sugar among diabetics. So if you walk, you find that was a study that reported that the benefits of increased glucose usage lasted several hours after exercise. So when you walk, you're actually using up glucose within the blood in your muscle cells. You're utilizing them, and you will be able to have that benefit of keeping them low for several hours. Not only for diabetes type 2, but diabetes type 1 in children and adults have at least twice the risk of developing cardiovascular disease compared to those who do not have diabetes. However, increased physical activity earlier improves their levels at all points. So all the measures for their levels in triglycerides, cholesterol, BMI, the HbA1c measures, they are improved once you have physical activity, even in the type 1 diabetes for children and adults. What about inflammation and its effect of exercise? Exercise acting via anti-inflammatory mechanisms increases longevity by reducing disease risk. So if you have inflammation, exercise has an anti-inflammatory benefit on the body. So repeated bouts of exercise induce an anti-inflammatory environment. In the long term, it would lower the risk of developing disease that are triggered by high amounts of inflammation in the body. So you have a preventative measure. Didn't we say earlier that God's plan is preventative, taking a preventative approach? So you don't need to have a disease condition to be physically fit and to exercise daily. You know, there are times when people would see me exercising, and if I go into a more public place, somebody might see me around, and then they would say, what are you trying to lose? I'm like, I'm keeping fit. Hello, I'm keeping fit. I'm preventing to get something to lose, or, or to get something to get rid of. We're keeping healthy. And this is what healthy people do. And when one isn't well and they want to restore health, they do what healthy people do. So let us all get out there. You're preventing inflammation. Folks with their aches and pains in their joints and you're afraid to walk. Get up and get moving. It may pain you, yes. You have inflammation. Let's work on other and everything. Let's work on the diet to reduce inflammation. Let's get some turmeric in as your botanical intake. Let's get moving. And as you walk, you tend to provide more blood supply to those joints. And you bring some fresh blood that comes with the healing properties, and your aches and pains begin to move away. It was towards the last ending of last year, I had someone who came to me for arthritic pain. And as I shared with her in the consultation, the importance of exercise and just keep going. You know, you exercise, the pain comes, okay. If it's unbearable, you stop. But the next day you go again. You don't hold up. And so she did that. And of course, when you exercise, you get a whole lot more. You get some endorphins that keeps you happy and encouraging you to do more. So she did it. And she said, I could walk, I could move. I'm walking even more. And she was so excited as to see the improvements. And she recognized too that when she walked and kept up with her regular walking regime, that she did not have the pains that she used to have. But if she held up for a day or two and then she started back again, then you'd find some issues again. That's because she just need to do it long enough, and the body will be better for it. So remember, when you stop, you also start to regress. And so if you're building, it will take time. One of the things with God's natural remedies is that it takes the time, but it's a good way to gradually build you and to gradually restore the body, as opposed to having you get everything all at once. So it reduces that extra and high amounts of inflammation. So the aches and pains, it has an anti-inflammatory effect on the body. It also helps um, with heart disease. So no exercise will increase your risk of heart disease because the blood vessels are not compliant but stiff and hard. So your heart need is a muscle. And if you're exercising to a moderate to intense measure, your heart is a muscle, so it's going to work and work for you vigorously. So you find inflammation being reduced in the body, then you have less risk of getting um, cholesterol plaque buildup. Your blood vessels are healthy. They're not inflamed on the inside. Your blood pressure wouldn't go up and thereby cause situations, to give you heart diseases. Do light to moderate intensity exercise rather than vigorous exercise if you have heart problems. So there are some heart cases where folks might be afraid to exercise, afraid to walk, but you do light to moderate. And, so it's not vigorous. And sometimes I see where some medical professionals will actually tell people, don't walk, don't walk. It's just like they have high blood pressure and they say, don't take any salt in your diet. But you do need sodium in your diet. You do need more than sodium. You need you need salt, a proper salt, one that has more than sodium in it. Sodium, that one, yes, definitely. They have a right to tell you, don't take that white table salt that is stripped of the 82 minerals and they just give 2 sodium and chloride. They're right to tell you don't take that because then it's too high of sodium and that is not what you need. You need a good, healthy salt like the pink Himalayan sea salt. But you also need exercise. If you have a diseased heart, you need exercise. How is the blood going to circulate? How are you going to grow new blood vessels? How are you going to reduce inflammation in the body? How are you going to keep fit? How are you going to be able to breathe well and to get those the body functioning properly? So you do need to do it, but you're not going to overshoot, overdo. You're not going to jog and you're not going to go into a vigorous kind of sporting activity. You run into problems. And so you want light to moderate, especially, if you have heart issues or coming out of heart surgery. And in so doing, you strengthen the body. So it has been well established that exercise is a safe and effective way to treat coronary vascular disease, and in some cases is as effective as drug therapy. The good news is that even in small increases in physical fitness are associated with a significant reduction in cardiovascular risk, even in patients with existing disease. So even for those, and there have been studies on this that would actually take people who have heart conditions and let them walk. They're testing them, so they walk them on a treadmill and they're walking and they stop them and they take certain measurements and they let them go again. And every time it shows that even a small increase in that physical fitness, walking as we see, is the best remedy. So there's some common signs and symptoms of major health conditions that can be alleviated. Pain or discomfort in the chest, neck, jaw, arms related to heart. And so if these are some major issues: shortness of breath at rest and mild exertion, dizziness, or you find some of these palpitations or tachycardia where the heart is racing, ankle edema, um, intermittent claudication where you have blockage in certain areas going to the legs, um, heart murmur. Some of these are some serious conditions, and you should speak to your physician or physical fitness or physical therapist for help on those conditions. Now, what exercise should you refrain from if one has hypertension? You want to refrain from heavy weight lifting. That can raise your blood pressure significantly. So, those weights and so forth, no, it would raise your blood pressure. And breathe through your nostrils, taking deep breaths to help reduce hypertension. Blood is not enabled to expel the impurities as it would if active circulation were induced by physical exercise. So you want active circulation of the blood. Question 16, judicious exercise should induce the blood to the surface and thus relieve the internal organs. So a brisk yet not violent exercise in the open air with cheerfulness of spirits will promote the circulation, giving a healthful glow to the skin and sending the blood vitalized by the pure air to the extremities. So, one of the things that I tell you as you're on this program and it's running in the midst of the day, you'd need to try and go to bed early at night, like 9:30, and then wake up early in the morning and try and do as much as possible your 1 hour of walking early morning. That is going to help you tremendously because if you sit day after day after day, by the end of this program, you'd be complaining about lots of circulatory issues, uh, pain in your back and your waist, and you know, so, in order to get ahead of that and to prevent, get up early in the morning and do your 1 hour of walking. You may need to put aside certain things to make it happen, but it is important for you. So, any blood circulatory problems, neglecting to exercise the entire body or portions of it will bring on morbid conditions. Inaction of any of the organs of the body will be followed by a decrease in size and strength of the muscles and will cause the blood to flow sluggishly through the blood vessels. So you want activity. What about cancer? And does exercise help with that? Um, well, 25% of cancer cases worldwide are caused by overweight or obesity and a sedentary lifestyle. So you're on extremes, overweight, obesity, or if you're doing nothing at all. And then sustained physical activity is actually protective against cancer. Physical activities does not increase the risk of any cancers. It would only help. There are lots of people too who are physically active, but they still come with cancer. Let's look at their diet. So it's not the only thing. Again, all the laws of health in combination help to support each other and help to support a healthy body. So cancer patients experience the more physical active people, the better they are. Physical activity is most protective against colorectal cancer, against postmenopausal breast cancer, and endometrial cancer. Reductions in body fat reduces the risk of several other cancers. So, lots of cancer, the prostate, liver, ovarian, gallbladder, pancreatic, physical activity is important here. Exercise can alleviate some common cancers related symptoms, such as a lack of appetite, diarrhea, constipation, fatigue, muscle pains, depression, insomnia. Need check out physical activity. Are you getting exercise daily? Cancer survivors are defined as people who are living with a diagnosis of cancer, includes those receiving treatment and recovery and those who have had a full recovery from cancer. There are numerous evidence-based reasons for cancer survivors to exercise. For one, they improve their quality of life, they have improved physical functioning, and they reduce cancer-related fatigue that can step in because the cells are not getting oxygen as it should. And exercise helps cancer survivors to cope with and to recover from whatever treatment they may be doing. And so it reduces the risk of breast cancer by 20 to 40% and colon cancer by 30%. Moderate intense physical activity is sufficient to reduce the risk of cancer and is more protective than light intensity physical activity. So the brisk walking, movement can help with breast as well as the colon. When you walk, your colon gets exercised. Just when you walk and you're walking brisk, just put your hand on your abdomen and you're going to feel this movement that's taking place there. And that is how you can exercise your colon, preventing constipation and getting that food to move along the digestive tract, and it's not staying one place and rotting and causing, cancers to thrive in the colon. What about the lungs? Does it get help? So the muscles and veins are enabled better to perform their work. They will be increased vitality, which is so necessary to health. The lungs will have needful action as you go out into the bracing air of winter morning, even without inflating the lungs. So even in the winter time, go out and take your walk. Don't say it's too cold. Put on warm clothing and get out there and walk. And if it's raining, on the other hand, if it's raining and you can't get outdoors, you are indoors, walk in your home. It may feel silly, but your body is going to be helped for it. And you walk within the home. So individuals who have lung conditions, walking is recommended. They can lift, light weights for their arms to strengthen their arms and endurance. They can practice deep breathing for 5 to 10 minutes daily. And they should stop exercising if they feel pain in the chest, the neck, the arm, the jaw. It might be a signal of inadequate blood flow to the heart tissue because they already have some lung issues. So it's not that we tell them don't walk. We tell them to still walk, still exercise, but at the same time, if you start getting pain, just stop and recover, because it could be that you're moving quicker than what the lungs, because it's the lungs that's damaged, injured, and so you can be moving faster than what the lungs can handle. So you find that even when it comes to respiratory tract infection, with physical activity, so exercise and its intensity from sedentary, moderate, and to very high, you find that the risk of infection also is average. If your exercise is sedentary, then your risk of infection is about infection prevention is average. But as you increase your exercise, you actually reduce your risk for infection. So you're now above average for getting any type of respiratory tract infections. And so question 28, can exercise help with digestive issues? Exercise will aid the work of digestion. And here's how you get it. You do it to walk out after a meal. You hold your head erect, your shoulders are back. It's not brisk walking. It's a moderate, casual, just movement walking. The mind will be diverted from self. You think about the beauties in nature, and it just aids in digestion of your meal. And and so just casually walking around the house, just walking around the block, walking in and around your home can help after a meal. If your work is sedentary, take exercise every day. And at each meal, eat only 2 or 3 kinds of simple food. Take no more of these than will satisfy the demands of hunger. Question 20, exercise on the brain will improve your mood. So if you feel down and low, just get up and walk. And it helps to reduce anxiety, depression, improve cognitive function. So, like your memory, learning, your thinking, your judgment, that will be improved when you exercise. And that's true for adults as well as children. So children do need movement, and you reduce um, the development of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. And so it's a preventative measure. And so you lower the risk of cognitive decline. So if it is that you so anything like your memory and so forth, you would improve it and reduce the risk of it dropping on you. And so simple regular walking can improve motor function, cognition, and general quality of life. And it will enhance blood flow to the brain, which is very important in order for the brain to function properly, to improve in its memory. And even with dementia or Alzheimer's type situation, you do want to improve blood flow to the brain. So you may look at taking ginkgo or something for to improve blood flow, but exercise can also help with that. It also helps with neurogenesis in adults, rebuilding and creating new brain cells. Can students, what about students and exercise? The exercise of the brain in study without correspondent physical activity has a tendency to attract the blood to the brain, and the circulation of the blood through the whole system becomes unbalanced. So you're studying, and all the blood goes up in the head, and you don't have correspondingly physical activity and walking and physical exercise, and you find that you have an imbalance. So you do need to get up and move, take breaks, and have a physical program if you're one that is a student and you're studying. There should be rules regarding their studies to certain hours, and then a portion of their time should be spent in physical labor, even gardening and so forth. They can benefit from that. So it's a safe, now exercise. When you are going out to exercise, it is key to warm up. Always warm up. It takes about 15 minutes for the coronary arteries to dilate or expand and allow your blood to flow through nicely. About 15 minutes to get that. So you do need warming up. And that's why the hour is so beneficial, because if you were only to take a 20 minutes walk, 15 minutes, your heart now, arteries, it's now expanding. Now saying, oh God, yes, the blood is flowing. Good. We're getting some good blood flow here. Stop. What happened? Let's improve this, so let's continue for longer. This is especially important in patient populations and the elderly. So you have rhythmic movements of the large muscle groups of the body. So, example, marching on the spot, punching the air, walking, stretching. Those things are warming up exercises. So you're marching in spot. Start warming up your muscles, heating up that blood, and so forth. Warm up. If you were just and even I folks tend to use lift light weights for weight bearing on their joints and muscles to keep that good tone as they go about. If you were just to pick it up and start, your muscles, you can actually injure them because they are not warmed up. Your blood is not warmed up. So you need to warm up your blood before you get any near vigorous kind of activity. As important as warming up is, so is cooling down. It prevents post exercise hypotension, where your blood pressure drops low on you, and venous pooling of the blood. You're going, and then you stop. No, you warm down, cool down. Do not sit down straightway, cool down. Walk slowly or marching on the spot, even with upper limb support, and you shake your arms out, shake them. It can suffice to redistribute the blood gradually, because as you were intensely walking, briskly, vigorous walking, a lot of blood is within the legs area. But now, as you cool down, you just get the blood circulating throughout the entire body in a proper manner. So, question 22, state 2 safe practices. You want to wear appropriate footwear, clothing, and supervision. You want to also have adequate space to exercise, minimize obstacles, especially if you're doing exercise indoors. You don't want um, to have anything in your way that you're dodging around. Just clear the passageway so that you're free to move. Make sure your environment is not too hot and that there is insufficient ventilation. Watch out for signs of overheating. That's why it's good to have a bottle with you and you keep hydrated while you exercise. If you overheat, you can have headache, dizziness, nausea, faintness, cramps, or palpitations. And if you don't have sufficient water intake, even your calves can cramp you for that. And then you might need some salt, either water or some salt. Just lick on the salt and it can help to clear away those cramps in your muscles. Diabetics, when you're walking, you must have a fruit with you during any walking exercise. So for that 1 hour of walking every day for diabetics, always have a banana in your hand, an orange that's cut and peeled and sliced. Have it in your hand because as you are heading back, your blood sugar levels can drop on you and you want to make it home safely. Know your emergency phone numbers if you have run into any problems. If your muscles get sore from exercise, don't worry about it. In 12 to 24 hours, it would clear away. But the more you keep up with it, then it's your body sort of firms up and get used to that. Itching sensation in the legs can be due, or other portions of the body, after an exercise, can be connected with poor blood circulation. Your body is like, hooray, we're getting movement. And so as the blood begins to move now, you find that the nerves are sort of stimulated and it can give an itching sensation. Your calf can cramp you due to dehydration and low mineral intake. So that's why you just lick on some salt, some of the pink Himalayan sea salt, and that can help to reduce any cramping in the calves. And also drinking water can help with that. Encourage patients, second selected messages, page 298. Encourage patients to live healthfully and to take an abundance of exercise. This will do much to restore them to health. Let seats be placed under the shade of the trees that the patients may be encouraged to spend much of their time out of doors. So you want folks to spend lots of time outdoors as well as to take an abundance of exercise. With children, we want to encourage them to maintain good weight, not to have obese obesity. They help prevent them from getting type 2 diabetes, which is quite prevalent in our children today. And in 2004, the general surgeon actually said, um, for the United States stated that because of the increased rate of obesity, unhealthy eating habits, and physical inactivity, we see for the first generation that will be less healthy and have a shorter life expectancy than their parents. Let your child not fall into this category, but help them to get up and out and moving. When it comes to younger children, encourage that they get at least 60 minutes of movement every day. You know, they may be smaller, but let them play outdoors, running up and down. They may be running in the house too. Don't stop them. They need that physical activity. And from age 6 and over, uh, resistance training. So having things like monkey bars that they're stretching and hanging from, or they're pulling at things, you know, to have resistance training for their arms and their legs to be strengthened, to improve their bone health, can help. Reduction in sports related injuries. So we sporting is another kettle by a fish by itself, but to get engaged in sporting activities. But the same, you know, you don't want to encourage that and the competition that goes along with it, and they can get injuries from early. But just physical movements would be good for them. So get things to them, you know, create throwing brightly colored bags of sand, pushing, pulling carts, jumping rope, monkey bars. Uh, they can use their own weight for resistance. Ensure that they have a nice, safe environment. You make it fun and not, you know, drudgery. You got to move, you got to move. No, you make it fun and they will move freely for you. So, question 24, list 3 recommendations of exercise for older persons. So, break up the periods of sedentary behavior. Don't let them be sitting all for long periods. Get them up and movement. Have a good conversation with the elderly that you're helping. You know, sometimes they'd say, I'm old and I don't want to be doing this. What do you mean? I'm tired. I don't have to be walking. It's for the old young people. No, it's for them too. So, Granny, need to get moving. Need to get moving. You know, let's not allow the disease to grow on you. And so engage them in some physical activity, go out with them, walk with them, and go at their pace. You know, don't run off and leave them behind. Go at their pace, and that will be encouraging. You know, let them warm up, importantly, and let them cool down. And you know, the elderly, encourage them, talk as much as you can, and pray that their attitude and their mind would be one to want to embrace health and strength and vitality. They can live to be 100, but if you are living to be 100 and you're bedridden and you're not moving and you're sitting in a chair all day, it's not you know, as great as if you could move on your own and go outside and run your errands and do things for yourself. That quality of life is totally different and what should be encouraged. Improve fitness, comfortable movements, avoid stress on their joints, and even when we're younger, avoid stress in the joints. And that's why we recommend what? Walking as opposed to jogging and or running and tennis activities, you know, those things that would require jumping or with your legs, putting a lot of pressure on your hips and your knees. When you jump and you jog, you're putting pressure on your hips and your knees. At least 3 times your body weight is coming down on that. Over time, you're going to wear away at the cartilage and at the same time cause and create problems for you later on in life. Rest when they feel tired and just let them know the benefit of losing their mind. If they sit there for too long, they can lose their mind. You see, Alzheimer's, people with Alzheimer's disease, they actually walk and walk away, and then they don't know where they are, but it's a body's natural response to the condition to do just what it needed to do, and that is walking. And so you find that as they walk, they can walk far distances, and then their mind comes back to them and their memory comes back. They're like, what am I doing out here? It's because that walking now improved um, their memory, and they were able to think. So, what is the best form of exercise? We're told that a walk, even in winter, will be more beneficial to the health than all the medicines the doctors may do what? Prescribe. So, walking is preferable to riding. Walking, this is another quotation that you need to remember. Um, Walking is often more beneficial to health than all the medicines that can be prescribed. It's preferable to riding. It brings all the muscles into exercise. The lungs are forced into healthy action since it is impossible to walk without inflating them. Walking in all cases where it is possible is the best remedy for diseased bodies, because in this exercise, all the organs of the body are brought into use. Okay, this is Councils on Health, page 200. In all cases where possible is the best remedy for diseased body. All the organs are brought into use. Many who depend upon the movement cure should accomplish more for themselves by muscular exercise than the movements can do for them. So, what organs? The bowels, the muscles, um, to become, it prevents them from becoming enfeebled and shrunken. And these organs that have become enfeebled or shrunken from want of use will be strengthened by exercise. So, how do you exercise your bowels and make it strong? Walking muscles. Somebody asked me recently, how do you improve blood circulation to the pelvic region? Exercise can help to do that. Walking can help to do that. There is no exercise that can take the place of walking. By it, the circulation of the body is greatly improved. And so I showed this chart earlier, but when you walk in all cases of lifestyle diseases, you see great improvement compared to running. And we were teaching this all the time, looking at what the inspiration says. Walking is the best exercise for diseased bodies. And then it was only in 2013 that we came across this research as science improved and caught up with the inspired writings. And so we're able to share this with you. So, what about a gym? In a gymnasium, however well conducted, cannot supply the place of recreation in the open air. And for this, our schools should offer better opportunity, not just being in the indoors, but go out and walk and have activity on the outside as opposed to indoors. How do you know that you are exercising at your target heart rate zone? If you can exercise and carry on a basic conversation, then that's the correct rate for you. So as you're moving, especially if you're walking with somebody, you can talk. If you're out of breath, then you're going too fast for you. So you can carry on a basic conversation. It's good. When you walk, during moderate exercise, fat is used as energy, but during intense exercise, carbohydrate or glucose becomes the fuel of choice. And as you go walking, you burn more fat. People who run and they jog, the body tends to burn more carbohydrates, and with that intense activity.
Sister Nash, we're not hearing you. Your mic seems to be muted. Are you aware?
Sorry about that. Yeah, so as you walk, you tend to burn more fat. So individuals who are actually looking to reduce weight would benefit greatly from walking as opposed to running and jogging, as opposed to jogging. When you jog, you burn more carbohydrates. And if you walk early in the morning before consuming food, you can burn more fat in on the body. So it's highly beneficial. And then if you jog or if you exercise, this is walking later in the day, having had food, you would burn more um, carbohydrates and fat, but what we call 50% sugar, 50% fat when you exercise later in the day. So if you want to lose weight, the best time to do it is like early in the morning, even before eating. This is if you're not diabetic. If you are diabetic, make sure you have a fruit with you in your hand when you always have a fruit with you in your hand when you go walking. And so morning exercise, the best time is morning. It is the surest safeguard against cold, cough, congestion of the brain, inflammation of the liver, the kidneys, and the lungs, and 100 other diseases. The best time is in the morning. So if on your assessment, lifestyle assessment form, questions here. Do you exercise? Is one that we can ask our clients. And why is it so important to the health? Having looked at what we discussed just now, and as you review the study, why do you think exercise is so vital to our health? It will improve blood circulation, strengthen the bone, whatever the condition might be. We have shared a wide range of situations that you could correlate it from cause to effect. Watch what they're doing. If they're not exercising, here are some reasons why you need to exercise and how it would help your disease condition. How many times per week should you exercise? For optimal health, it is recommended that individuals exercise at least 7 days per week. Walking first thing in the morning would burn mainly fat. Walking later in the day would burn 50% sugar, 50% fat. Walking for one continual hour is equal to 20 units of insulin. So the diabetics would need that as well. And how would you rate your exercise? And so someone you are consulting is a marathon runner that does a 20-mile run every day, vigorous for 2 hours a day. What would you advise that person? This results in overtaxation of the joints and wear and tear of the cartilage. That person will have joint issues later on in life. We've seen it so many times. The glory for the youth, but as they go into age, they have to have hip replacement surgeries, cleaning of the cartilages, all kinds of stuff needs to happen. In addition, those folks can get what you call runner's heart. So the heart is a muscle, and with that intense activity and so forth, it can enlarge, and that now makes it a weak heart, and you have problems. So, what are your favorite exercise sessions? Is another question. And you want to encourage people to walk. Folks would say they like swimming, they like bicycle riding, and so forth, but we want to encourage them to walk. How do you feel after you exercise? If someone says that they feel bad, they feel pain, okay, well, let's stop and see what's happening with you. So you want them to really feel rejuvenated, happy, with lots of energy and so forth, instead of having some bad experience. Do you feel any pain while you are exercising? If they say yes, where do they feel the pain? It may be that so they're with that movement and their and the rapid breathing, that they're getting less blood supplied to the heart area, and that can trigger some pain. So they would need to get tested and speak to their physician about that. And there we go. So may the Lord richly bless us as we walk, 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 have movement every day. Use it for prevention as well as a remedy for diseased bodies. And it is one of the laws of health that the Lord has provided, that is free, available to all. And it every day you have an opportunity to make it happen. Let's have a word of prayer as we close. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for another law of health that you have provided for all mankind to benefit from. And we ask, dear God, that you grant us that willingness to step out and to make physical activity very much part of our daily lives, and to improve in it where we need to, or to continue doing it if we are already doing so, so that we can reap the benefits that you have in store for us. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, so let me see. Um, Dr. Lamley is on the line, and we probably have some questions, and I'd need your help to take over with the questions, please, because I need to leave to go to um, get ready for another program in the next few minutes.
Okay, Sister Nash will have one hand from Paula Myrie.
Okay.
Paula, you can go ahead. Your mic is activated.
Yes, this is one of my favorite stuff that I love to do, walking. Okay, I even do a blog on the walking because I'm always showing scenery. I walk early in the morning, but because of the time change, I'm in Chicago. It's very dark and there's coyotes out there, so I'm scared. So I haven't been able to walk like early in the morning. Sometimes at lunchtime I go, but it's not as much fun because I like to go. I notice an excruciating pain in my right foot. Now this foot has gone through several trauma plus surgery, and it keep on getting swollen from just my toe to like about probably 4 inches above my ankle, and it goes away. And it's more on this time because I haven't been walking for like about 4 to 5 days. The pain is in my heel and it's getting swollen when I wake up in the morning. There's no difference. So I'm just wondering, what can I do to fix it?
Since you were accustomed to walking, it's very unlikely that you'll have poor blood circulation so quickly, unless you were constricting the blood vessels at some point in bad posture or something. But you can do some hot and cold contrast applications. So you get 2 bowls, one with hot water, the other with cold ice cubes, and the hot as much as you can bear, 2 rags in them. And the hot one rag, you squeeze all the water, dripping water out, and you apply that for 3 minutes. And then you do the cold for 30 seconds on the area where you're getting the pain. Just help to loosen up the blood in that area, free it up, and to help to improve it as you would, and that should help. In addition, you can try and get some sort of hot ointment to use, like Anaka gel. Maybe it's some inflammation. I don't know if you, in your diet, you might have eaten something that triggered an inflammatory response in the body, and that's a weak link where it's paining, because you did mention on that leg you've had previous injuries. So those are some of the things that you could consider, but try the hot and cold contrast. Do 3 rounds of it, repeated 3 times, ending with a cold, and that could probably give you some good relief. If you do have some oil, like oregano oil, that you can add some carrier oil to it, that can help with removing and inflammation in the spot area. And so you can apply, you get the oregano oil, put those drops into some olive oil or coconut oil, rub the skin, and then you put a hot application after, like a hot water bag, let it penetrate, and that can help.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. And for some quick responses in the chat, I see lymphatic cancer. Of course, walking would help with lymphatic cancer tremendously, because it's one of the ways in which we would be moving our lymph. And what if my mother has osteoporosis? She can't walk. You let her do as much as she can, and soon her blood supply will improve in the legs and in those bones and strengthen it, and she would be able to do better. Falling asleep in meetings, similarly to what we are just discussing with the young lady with the excruciating pain. I think it's Paula, just the same. Okay, so I gotta run. I'm sorry I can't stay any longer with you, but I trust that the information shared here this afternoon will be quite beneficial to you as you are able to get as you progress in the study. So may the Lord richly bless you. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, Sister Nash. I know you have to run out to another program, but thank you for the time that you have spent with us this afternoon. And I know the presentation was well appreciated. And the question, we will take the rest of the questions. All right. So God bless you.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Lamley. Okay. Bye.
Yes, bye-bye. For persons online, I see person keep asking about, can I get this presentation? Can I get this presentation? As long as you are a student, you will have access to the presentation. All right. As long as you are a student, you will have access to the presentation. So you don't need to be asking, can you get it? The only persons who not get it would have been those who have not yet registered. So it is still open. You can go ahead and register for the course. All right, and you will get it will be part of your package. Okay. Was there any question that we did not answer? Someone had asked, if weight loss is not your goal, should you walk later in the day? No, don't assume that because we are walking, we are going to lose weight. No, you can maintain weight. As a matter of fact, do you know that if you make your lifestyle changes, the body has a natural ability to adjust your body to your ideal weight. It will put you there and you won't lose another pound as long as you're following the health plan. All right. Most times you see persons lose weight this way. As I said, I think it was last night or today, I don't remember, but I was saying that the body has a tendency to lose the bad fat. All right, shed that bad weight that is packed with toxin, and then it will start putting on back your pounds in a nice way. You might not get back to your blessed size, but you will get back, you might put on a few pounds. And if you didn't get fat naturally and you're a natural slim person, chances are you might remain slim. All right, but just be healthy. Be healthy. Seek to be healthy. And if it is the will of God and your body can take that weight, you will get it. All right. You can put on weight. You can go on a 2-meal plan. You can plan. You can be very strict with your diet. You can not eat any fattening things, and you still end up putting on weight. All right. Okay, so somebody wanted to know my weight. Let me show you what I look like. This is my size. That is my size. on a 2-meal diet. Yeah. All right. So you can be on your 2-meal and you can still have on your pounds and be healthy. Does that help? Okay. All right. Any more question that we didn't take on? There are 4 hands, brother. Test.
Yes, I was about to tell you that, and we have a few answers, questions, I mean, in the Q&A section.
Okay.
So
I'll
we
take
have
them.
Valerie Morgan. Valerie, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I have, I guess since we're talking about exercise, can you tell me what the ratio would be for deep breathing? Would that be something we're doing prior while we're walking? What are we doing then for deep breathing? And the ratio is how many times you hold and all that kind of stuff.
So when you're deep breathing, remember the deep breathing starts even before you exercise. Fill your lungs with oxygen, and you're going to be holding it for a count of 5 to 10. It is not set because you have to tailor your exercise based on the person who is exercising. So we that's why for most persons, especially those who have health condition, we tend to tailor-made treatment toward the person. So whatever it is in the laws of health that we tell them to do, we tend to tailor-made it so that it can be beneficial to the person. All right. But if you can count to 10, hold your breath and count to 10, and exhale, inhale, hold. Make sure you start from your diaphragm. For most of us, I don't know about persons who are not Jamaican, but for many of us are Jamaican, we're shallow breathers. We breathe right under our neck. Our diaphragm is not engaged or barely engaged. All right. So the deep breath that we're supposed to be taking, we don't take those. So the poor lungs have become undercapacitated. It's not doing its work fully. All right. So hold your time. When you're walking, then your breathing is supposed to be well paced. All right. So you're going to be expecting that a person is in the breathing might get a little more shallow, and then it's going to cause it as you start, but as you go, you're going to find that it is calling for you to to breathe deeply because it's going way down there. What is comfortable is when you can have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Must be able to have without catching your breath.
Okay.
All right.
Now,
I mean, right. So that we don't push the body that far.
now, my mama has been bedridden for about 2 years. She used to walk, arthritis, and now any kind of, she cannot walk. She's been bed. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe I'll have to have a consultation for that.
Right. In the meantime, one of the things you can use is hot and cold treatment on her and massage.
Massage. Okay.
Yes, do massage and use the oils, the essential oils. Your peppermint is good. Geranium is good.
What's that one? Dara what?
Yeah, geranium.
Oh,
Right.
oh,
That is good.
geranium. Okay.
Yeah. For you, yes. All right. And those two are good. If she's having pain in the joint, then you could add wintergreen. Those are
Okay.
good for the pain. But
All together at the same time?
no, you can use either.
Oh.
I'd use like peppermint. Peppermint is good to use in the mornings because it's cooling.
Mm-hmm.
So as the days go down, it can tend to keep you a lot cooler.
Okay.
In the night, the wintergreen is very good because in the evenings the pain tend to come on
More
harder on
intensely.
person. Yes, because it gets cooler.
Interesting.
All right, so the blood vessels start constricting more. That's why you tend to feel pain later in the evening.
Right. Yeah, she's been having a lot of that. We couldn't figure out why. So
Yes,
are we supposed
that
to
is
be
the
filling
reason.
out the Google form for every session? Because I keep seeing it in the chat.
It is your registration. It's like you're going to school, you have to register every day that you go to school.
No, is it for daily or because we just did the exercise, we do it for exercise? Do we do it for the pure air? I mean, every session or just daily?
It is. I will check with nurse with that one.
Okay, because I was confused about why it was appearing so often. Thank you so much. That was helpful.
You're welcome, my dears. All right. Okay. Was there another next person?
Yes, we have Angela Henry Gordon. Please unmute your mic. Angela Henry Gordon.
Yeah. Yes. Dr. Lumley.
Yes, ma'am.
What is ankle enema?
When it starts swelling, when your ankle starts swelling. All right, water retention. It's not
Okay.
just swelling because maybe you sprain it or something, but when you touch it and it is very soft well, let me put it this, when it becomes springy, like you touch it and you find out like it is soft to the touch, and as soon it make an indentation and then it
Yeah.
just spring back out. Well, in a
Okay.
layman's
Well,
term, that's it.
okay.
Mm.
Well, I am a Bible counselor and I've been doing Bible counseling for 17 years. And
Yes.
I'm finding that since we're on closed down, not doing crusades, and I'm not going out in the field as I used to, I'm having ankle problem, not swelling, pain in the
Mm-hmm.
ankles and not under the heel of the foot bottom, but in the heel string of the foot bottom and in the knees, and also in the right side muscle in my back, that big part of my back, actually under the thing is a shoulder gauge there. There's a pain there that when I turn my body like from side to side,
Yeah.
I'm feeling it. I've been using like the Epsom salt in warm water at sometimes, and it helps like for the night. But sometimes when I wake in the morning, I can't walk because my ankles are so painful.
All right. So some of these issues, remember, as we get older, the body starts slowing down. We need to remember that. Another thing that happens to us is that the nutrients in our body start being depleted, and a lot of times we don't concentrate on what is being replaced. So
Okay.
we are not very deliberate. We plan our meals, and how we eat to ensure that our bodies are well fed. All right. Another thing, the combination itself can cause certain nutrients not to be in your system. All right. But
Okay.
for things like those, we cannot give a broad answer. Circulation can also be a problem, and especially like you're not as active. You're not as active as you were then,
Yes.
right? So therefore, that means your circulation has become compromised. So this
Okay.
can be and yeah,
Because this morning while I was walking to the shop and I feel like a burning sensation from the left foot on the right side of the left foot come up to my knees. And I had to
yeah.
stop and actually squeezing from the knee go down to that area to get a relief from that burning.
Do you know one of the, well, two really? Do you know that most times when I have persons who are having this burning sensation along with this cramping feeling, there are two things I recognize wrong with them. Many times they take calcium, but it's not the calcium is the problem, a lot of time. I'm not saying this is what is happening with you. I'm just telling you from experience what I've noticed.
Yes.
Um, Magnesium and vitamin D is deficient in the system. A lot of times that is what is happening. Right? Our magnesium has become depleted, and as we look more into this training, I'm not saying that's going on with you, but as we
Yeah.
learn more and we look at our food and we do proper diet, and you see, maybe you can understand what is going on in your body. All right.
Okay.
But most time when persons come to us for consult, one of the first thing we do with them is do a detox, clean out the body, because a lot of times over time the body becomes so congested with toxins that we are having a lot of symptoms going
I,
on,
I
right?
believe that's what maybe is happening with me because I've never done a detox.
Oh, you have never. oh
I've never done a
oh let
detox.
let us clean you out. You'll see what is a detox. All right.
Okay.
So,
So you can schedule an appointment for me.
you will speak with nurse. All right.
All right, sis.
All right, my
Thank
dear.
you.
You're welcome.
All right,
All right,
next we
next.
have Warren Brown. You can unmute your mic, Warren. Warren Brown,
Yes,
go ahead, sir.
two short questions. What's the best time recommended for walking after a meal? And the second question is, what's the main reason why, like, if I should walk for at least 20 minutes there's a pain in my insteps. Could you answer those questions, please?
All right, let me take the last one first. When you're having the pain in your instep, if you find that it is constantly being there, it's telling you that the circulation is slowing down. All right, and circulation tend to slow down when the nutrients is not in the diet, and when there's not enough exercise going on, because it is exercise that is going to be carrying nutrients to your body parts. All right, all over your body. And if you are not moving as you should, then the body is going to be slowing down. And because those parts are called your hands and your feet, they're called extremities. They are farther away from the heart. So therefore, if anybody is going to suffer from lack of oxygen and good blood, it's going to be those areas. So it's easier for you to feel it in your feet, and your fingers start getting tingling. All right. So put a little pep in the step and do the exercise. Try to work up a sweat. All right. So that you know that the body is throwing off some of the toxins and that the blood is circulating properly. And in the meantime, what you can do, soak your feet warm. Epsom salt is excellent. Put your water in the pot. Well, I don't know. Based on the pan that you have will determine the amount of water, but enough to cover your feet. All right, let it be warm. If you're not if you're diabetic, let somebody else test it for you. Don't test it for yourself. And put a half cup of Epsom salt in it. Sorry. All right, and soak
Yes,
it.
I'm diabetic.
You're diabetic?
Yes.
All right, so there goes an issue. So what you can do, ask someone then to massage those feet for you. Use some cayenne with some olive oil. Just put them together and let someone massage them for you, right? So that it can increase your circulation. And one thing I can tell any diabetic, as long as your feet can go, you must walk. This one is not even an option for diabetics, because it is in walking that the insulin will kick in and help to lower that blood sugar level so that the body can make itself right. All right, so you have to exercise. Okay, so try that method, and then that should give you some relief.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Oh, you asked about the walking after a meal. Yes, walk for 15 to 30 minutes based on what you can do. And this is very helpful, so that there's a sugar cap, and there is a cap on the amount of insulin that will be released in your system.
All right, next we have Rita. Go ahead, Rita, you can unmute your mic. Rita, you can unmute your mic. Go ahead, please.
That was a mistake, sorry.
Okay, no problem. Next we have Diana McCoy.
Dr. Lamley, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing well, sis. Yeah.
One of the things, I just want to make a suggestion on something. I don't know if you will allow me. Especially, I was listening on the massage using the peppermint oil.
Yeah.
One of the things that as somebody like me, as you know, use these things frequently, is that ask them to just add a little of the olive oil, the virgin olive oil with it, a few drops. Cause if you just tell them like that, they will throw the whole bottle. So a few drops of the peppermint to a few
the essential oil. Yes, that's a good point, Sister Maka. Yes.
Yes, because sometimes some persons work with the skin and the skin is very sensitive. So for like the elderly person who
where them see the man must said where can for them bump up the place to make land.
drops of essential oil of peppermint to the person. But
yes.
And as you made the suggestion, the other one we use the olive oil, which is the other olive oil with it, so that the skin don't burn, because a lot of persons have sensitivity skin, and some persons, you know, sometimes their skin give a lot of problem, as you know. So this is my suggestion to the massage part of it, with person. Once they're massaging up, they don't do the up in a zigzag way. They do up and lightly coming down with the legs then.
All right. You're right. You're right, Sister McCoy. I should have mentioned, put it in an oil, because if you're going to be using the essential oil, then it's very concentrated. All
Yes,
right. So it is good to mix it in a carrier oil, and as she suggests, the olive oil. So that is good.
yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Next
All right,
person.
next we have Kitten. Miss Kitten, can I mute your mic, please?
Just allow me. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, I was just asking, it started several weeks ago where the middle finger on my left hand, right at the joint, right under that, the bone right there, I just started having this sharp, hard pain, like it's even now touching it, it's very hard. And when I try to bend that finger, it almost is mechanical in a way, like I don't know how to explain it, like it doesn't go straight up. It almost feels like it snaps, like two snaps to get it.
I've seen it, yes.
And it's like very pain, but it's just in that one finger from the base of the finger, like at the bone, you know, there to the finger itself. And when I try to bend it, it's like click, click to have that one finger go up. It doesn't smoothly go up like say the right one does, if that's making sense. And I don't know why it's just this one finger on the hand.
Well, I know you're feeling it on one finger on your hand, but don't believe it's only one finger on your hand is affected. It's not only one that's affected. It is one you're feeling it in, and that's inflammation. And do you eat refined food? Do you have any refined food in your diet?
Probably. Like what?
Like white bread, white flour, white rice.
Yeah. Yeah, I did eat some white rice and probably some white flour. Yeah, I was eating that. I had some. I try not to, but I did have some recently, but it started a little before that. But the refined, you're saying the white flour bread or something is causing maybe the inflammation in
It is
there?
causing move away from them, sis. Move away from them. That's the first line of attack. All right, and if you continue, you're going to not feel it. That finger is just because it's the area of weakness, but it is there. The inflammation is there. It's just that part is your area of weakness. You will feel more of it if you don't.
Is there something I can use to reduce the inflammation then? If you think of the inflammation,
yes, there is. There is. When last have you cleansed your system?
I do clear. I mean, I do plant-based, so every now and again I will take like a colon cleanse like once a quarter. But I mean, I don't really eat outside of maybe the white flour, which is sparingly. I try not to, but every now and again I will eat something with it. I don't eat any flesh. I don't eat anything like that.
All right. So in that case, there are two things you can do for yourself. You can use some activated charcoal in the night when you're going to sleep.
Charcoal at night? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, activated charcoal. Charcoal, you use a plastic spoon or a wooden spoon with it. You don't use a metal with it because that will deactivate it. And you can take about, it would have been more like a teaspoon.
Teaspoon of charcoal at night.
Yes, but use more than that though. Use 3 of those. Put 3 of that in a glass of water and take that. So it would have been about like 8 ounces of water, and you take that in the night. What that will do, it will help to draw toxin onto itself and take out some of those substances that might be causing inflammation. But in the morning, ensure that you drink a lot of water, especially 16 ounces of warm water in the morning.
Yeah, I do that with the lemon. I do the warm water in the morning with the lemon. So do the charcoal about a tablespoon and a half, because 3 teaspoons will be about a tablespoon and a half at night, and then the warm water in the morning.
I normally recommend persons to do it for 3 nights consecutively.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, that will help you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next we have Carol Smith.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good presentation. 2 questions here. One, I realized that my cousin, well, it has been, I think from the year started, constantly having a pain in the upper about 6 inches from the shoulder down. And at times when I exercise or I massage it, sometimes you'll be burping. What I'm saying is it's like a nagging pain. It's a hard pain. He's constantly saying it's gas. So I'm wondering if it's really gas or what can be done in such a case. And as
you know, the same thing that I said to her just now would have been a good remedy for that. And you know what is happening? Those areas need some oxygen. Need some oxygen. So the oxygen can either come from the exercise, where the body is really getting more oxygen, or it can do from a deep tissue massage. All right, but make sure, one thing you make sure, if you see, you notice where you're mentioning it is near to where the stomach is. All right, make sure that there's regularity in eating, of set meal time, so that the body can have time for rest and digest, and the stomach is not being overworked. Because even though it's in the stomach, and sometimes we think that it is the stomach that you would have felt things in, no, it can manifest itself elsewhere. All right. So
no, it's
make
not
sure
the stomach, it's at the back though, the back.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Even though you're not feeling it, it's not being felt in the stomach, doesn't mean it's not the stomach that is affected. All right. So look at the regularity of meals, and you would be amazed to see. Let him use the charcoal and look at the regularity of meal and exercise, and see the difference that it will make.
Okay, thank you. And another question here. I think I did put it in the chat earlier. Why is it that you find that, I don't want to say generational curse, because some people don't believe in that, but that's the best way I can put it. You'll find that your grandmother has fibroid, your mother has it, the 4 daughters have it, and what can be done to reverse such a curse, if you want to say?
I understand what you're saying. There are two diseases that run in my family. It's like everybody decides they have to have high blood pressure and they have to have diabetes. But growing up, I'm seeing what is happening with almost everybody, and it seems as if it is just accepted. You know, this is it. This is what happened. Yeah. And I make up my mind, there's no way I'm going to be sticking myself with insulin, to take insulin. And there's no way I'll be going on medication. So from back then, I decided I start making changes. Even before I know how to make the right changes, I know that I have to stop doing what they do. Because guess what? It is generations behave the same very way. If you might not know Brother Taylor yet, because he didn't do a presentation today, but he said notice something with his mother and his grandmother. The way that when he was small, he said he would go to the country and he would visit his grandmother, and he recognized that same, like how the grandmother cooked, that's how his mother cooks. Okay. And what he noticed that it's the same way his mother taught her daughters to cook. So they have the same kind of taste over time. There was a family we were doing consult with. It was one person, but when she came, she was saying that all of the, I don't remember if it was 5 or 6 sisters and one brother, all of them had thyroid problem. So we want to know, is it that you have thyroid problem? No. So how is it that all of, so we start doing a little investigation. What are the things that would cause thyroid problem? You know what was their problem? The mother had high blood pressure. And because she had high blood pressure, she didn't cook with salt. So she grew her children with not using salt. So their iodine level was low. Wow. And because the iodine level was low, then the thyroid manifests itself. You understand? So the generation thing is because of patterns over time. This is how we do things, and we follow it. So what you can do to burst that bubble and break that curse, so start doing things different. Fibroids is not as complicated as people think. We see people get rid of fibroids in no time. All right? It is not as complicated. It just takes some work, and you can get rid of it. Break the curse. Don't allow your children and those to go with it. All right?
Okay, thank you very much. God bless.
You're welcome, sis. All right, so we took all the question, brother.
No, we have
We have
quite a
5.
number of hands. I don't know how many more you can take.
As it seems, I think I will only be doing the question this evening. I wanted to do another presentation, but I'll just concentrate on the questions now. And tomorrow morning I'll do the other presentation.
Okay, so continue taking hands.
Yes, let's take them out of the way. So tomorrow morning we'll start with a clean sheet.
Okay,
all questions
right.
answered. Yes.
Well, there you have it, folks. Just raise your hands. Next, we have Marvlet James.
All right.
Marvlet.
Good evening.
Hi.
Dr. Lamley, I know I've been speaking to joint pain,
yes.
But this is to my elderly in my family. You know, they've been crying for consistent joint pain. I don't know what you can recommend for them.
If they're elderly, is one of the main things that will happen to them. They're not outside. Elderlies don't take sunlight. You understand? So that is the first thing. You're going to get them out in the sun. In the meantime, because the vitamin D level, and guess what? By the time they become elderly, passing like 65 and going on, by the time they start getting into this age, what is going to happen is that the vitamin D level in the body is extremely low, and the human body cannot function without vitamin D. Especially where pain and inflammation is concerned, vitamin D. So maybe it's time you start get them out in the sun and giving them vitamin D3.
You know how to do
All right. Also, turmeric is excellent, really excellent for helping with joint pain.
The turmeric, but they have been using turmeric, but when you speak to them, they are still saying that they are having the joint pain in the knees.
All right. So try sunlight with vitamin D3 drops. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so now, Doc, we have Charles Lee. Charles Lee, you have been unmuted. Please go ahead. Charles Lee, you have been unmuted. Please go ahead.
All right. We're not in
Yes,
that.
Charles, we can see that you have your mic activated. Just speak now.
Hello, afternoon.
No,
Afternoon.
Miss Lynch, please. Sharon, please to wait. Just waiting on Charles.
Oh, that's what I was saying is, oh, come
on. Okay.
Charles, last chance.
Going. I think it's gone.
Gone. All right. So we move on now. So Sharon, you can unmute your mic now.
Unmute. Okay, good evening, Dr. Lamley.
Evening, my dear.
Yeah, good program. Yesterday, whole day, I was all day Sabbath keeper.
Oh,
all right, one or two questions. So here, I walk, except I think on Sundays. Some Sunday evening, I go on school. But I have to later notice my feet when I wake up in the morning, they are just heavy. And secondly, I've been feeling and so forth, and these feelings and place look foggy like I want to block out. Went to my holistic doctor and he said to do a test, and we found out that my blood sugar the glucose was 39.5. That sugar was low. And then the second thing, my lymphatic was like 39.5 or 0.1. What is it, all these readings telling me? Or it's too much?
That's so beautiful, because one of your this subject that you'll be doing is understanding lab report. It's going to be telling you how to understand lab report. So when you get it, you can read it and know exactly what is going on with you.
Beautiful.
All right.
Good.
So we will take on that, because that is going to take up a little more explanation.
All right,
so I'd rather look at you with outside of here.
All right, then tell me about the low sugar, the low glucose level though. That can be discussed now?
Well, yes, because the other person will have issues like that. All right. If you're finding that the glucose level is too low, that can send you into a coma. All right. if it's getting too low. Look at how you're eating. Look if some persons are on low carb diet, so they don't take enough carbohydrate in their diet to sustain them. Another thing is that the pancreas cannot be maybe not working well. I'd always hear you say you exercise on a daily basis.
Daily, yes.
Right? So if you're exercising, look at your diet with your exercise, because sometimes in our zeal to be healthy, we don't eat a complete meal. All right. And when that happens, then the body becomes starved. The body is not getting the nutrients that it needs. And anytime, so that feeling that feeling of dizziness and all of that can just be nature's way of telling you that, listen, I am not getting the food I need. I cannot survive. I can't work. All right. So look at how you're combining. That's why I make sure to begin with we put food combination and menu planning.
Right. Okay.
Because it is very crucial. So you look in your case when it's that low, make sure that you're taking some spirulina.
Okay, then. Okay, I used to
You can use like a teaspoon. You can make it in your smoothie. You can make it in. You can. Personally, I do not like spirulina, so I mix it in a little water and I drink it down very quickly to get it out of the way.
Okay.
I don't like the taste of it. It's very raw. But
yes, very. That is true. I've started it. I bought it from you already and drink it. It's very raw.
Very raw. But to match that taste, what I do also, I take, if you want to be an Energizer bunny, take one. I use a teaspoon or tablespoon based on what is going on of the blackstrap unsulfured molasses, and I put the teaspoon of spirulina with that. I will put 2 tablespoons of lemon juice
and just drink it down.
And drink it down.
Beautiful.
Quickly. And I will tell you something. You cannot take that in the night because for the whole day it has a running on like a machine.
Yes, I was told that.
It does, literally does. It removes fatigue almost instantly. So it's my best picker upper. So that would have been good for you.
All right. But tell me about the foot that feel heavy in the mornings when I wake up, I'll do exercise very heavy and heavy, them just heavy.
No, but that one is going to be because of the nutrients.
Oh,
that's going to be because of the nutrients imbalance.
So
that one we'll have to talk outside of here. See, I would have to see what you're doing now. All right.
All right then. Thanks, Doc. Have a good evening.
You too, sweetheart. Take care.
Thanks.
Okay, Tanya Dixon, you can now unmute your mic.
Good evening, Dr. Lamley.
Hi. Evening, my dears. Hi. You sound like you're way, way away.
Okay, let me come a little closer. Okay, repeat. You said blackstrap molasses, spirulina, and what for energy?
Lemon juice.
And the lemon juice. You need the lemon juice because it's going to it is rich in iron. The molasses is rich in iron, and when you take any iron supplements, you need some vitamin C to activate it. So when you combine those, then you are on top of the world. You will work non-stop.
Okay, thank you for that. But my original question is, if you have charcoal, the regular charcoal, what can you do to activate it?
It is a process, there's a process that it has to go through that I really don't know, never practiced. But I know they have to put it in something to get out the oxygen from it and leave only the carbon, because it's a carbon that gives that pulling force that will draw things onto itself without it absorbing into the body, right? But I've never done the process.
Okay, so it's best to purchase it.
I would say until you learn otherwise.
Okay,
but if you have the other charcoal, though, it's very good to make external poultice.
All right. Yes. The lemon juice, I usually buy the lemon juice from the health food store in the bottle. That can be used as well for the
make sure you have well, I can mention names on this and the station, but make sure if you buy it at the health food store, then I suppose it would have been the right ones. I know the one we have, but I don't know the others, but we can call names on this, right?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, Satan.
Okay, that was Miss Dixon, right?
That's Miss Dixon. Yeah.
Right, Miss Nixon, you can open your mic now, please.
Hello, good evening. Hello.
Yes, my dears, we are hearing you nicely.
Oh, good evening, Doc. How are you?
I'm doing well, God be praised. Yeah. How can we serve you?
I'm glad to be participating this evening.
We're happy you're here.
Trust me, I complain a lot because I'm not getting through to it.
Listen to me. You know, anybody on this line remember the devotional I did this morning? Anybody remember? Anybody there can tell her what I said? All right. So let me say to you, when things are happening to us as children of God, it is during the time of trial that we'll tell whether or not we are children of God. And I said to in devotion this morning, when you are squeezed, that is when the true you is going to come out. If you squeeze an orange, what will you get from an orange?
The juice.
What
orange
kind of
juice and the
orange
ripe.
juice. All right, orange juice. Would you get lemon from it?
No.
Because it's not a lemon. When you squeeze a Christian, what do you get out of the Christian?
Shoot.
So, when you squeeze a Christian, you're supposed to get Christ. You know? You're supposed to get Christ. Only the character of Christ is supposed to be revealed. So you
Well, I'm kind of young in it, you know, so.
You cannot be squeezing a Christian and whether you hear what coming out of it is not Christ. Now there's something wrong with that picture. When you squeeze a Christian, only Christ. And he said, there goes a Christian. Amen, sister?
Okay.
Amen. Okay.
Stop calling about. I did have shingles on my right knee. And it eat out there. You see the, well, me call it signage. I don't know what you call it. The thing that cushion the bone, between the bones.
Yeah, your synovial fluid.
Well,
your cartilage. Are you talking about your cartilage or the fluid?
Maybe, I don't know what it's named. It cushion between the bones. The soft thing that cushion between the bones.
Okay, then. So you're talking about your cartilage.
Two bones
yes.
rub.
Yes.
Yeah. The thing, the shingles had eat out that. So the bone have been rubbing. What can I do? I'm wondering if the vitamin D3 can replace it back.
All right, but because I have seen, I think, apart from a person troubling the body part, right? Apart from a person, okay, I think something has gone wrong with my camera. Apart from someone troubling the body part, the body has a natural ability to make itself right if it gets the right condition. So vitamin D, your calcium, your magnesium, all right, your sunlight, your diet change, all right, all of these, the body is able to go to the areas of weakness, because it would have been like the same, almost the same with persons with rheumatoid or other kind of thing where the cartilage has begun to completely deteriorate. And I have seen persons live to see the body repair itself and come around. They say, well, this had happened to them, but no more. And they go and they get themselves checked out, and it has replaced itself. So the body is able to take care of itself. Yeah.
Sometimes the bone, when I walk in and the bone rub, you can literally feel it.
Yes,
it rubs and it's painful, and sometimes it dropped me, and the doctor said that if it continue that way, I can end up with they call it arthritis.
Yeah, you can try poultice, you know. You can try to use poultice on it. You see in your diet, you make sure that you have most of the things that tend to be more on the, well, to put it in layman's term, be more, should I say, slippery. So you have things like your okra, you have things like your slippery ham, like your psyllium, like your aloe vera.
What about tuna?
and tuna, those kind of things, you want to ensure that these are in your diet. All right?
Okay.
So you change your diet and these are in there, and the supplements that we talk about. Externally, you can make poultice, make a poultice and put on in the night. And your kind of poultice would have been, you use your charcoal with the grounded flaxseed, and you can pound some cabbage leaf and put them together and make poultice in the night and put it. I remember back in the days I had a supervisor I was working with, and I was experimenting with my poultices, and that was one of the poultices I gave her. And she was the one who said everybody come listen, go over to Miss Lammy, go talk to her, she will help you, because her knees came back so wonderful. All right, so you can work on it.
So you sell the stuff?
Yes, they are at the health store.
Okay, where can I find it?
Where are you? Which location you are?
I'm in Portmore.
Okay, right at Jet Plaza. Jet Plaza beside Auto King.
That's in Independence City.
Right.
Okay.
All right, right across from the KFC at Independence City.
Okay then.
All right.
And thank you very much.
You are welcome. All right, are we closing up now? How many questions do we have?
We have 6 hands.
All right, no more. Let's take those and we are finished.
Okay. And Miss Nixon, you can go ahead and Angelique. Oh, you just spoke. Miss Morgan, Valerie Morgan, you can go ahead and open your mic now, please.
Yes, thank you. Quick questions.
Oops. Sorry, Miss Morgan. You can unmute your mic now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. The activated charcoal recipe that was just given, is that for detox for anyone? With the 3 nights and plus the warm water in the morning?
The persons I would not recommend that for all those persons who have to take medication in the nights or in the late evening, because if you do that, the charcoal is going to take it out of your system.
But it is a detox though, right?
It is it's very detoxifying for the body. So you'd have to read it up and see what it is like. But I know it's very good for inflammation in the system.
Information. And what about vitamin B12? What are the sources for that? I'm vegan and I just want to make sure I'm getting enough as I should.
If a person is not well, I would suggest to them that they take a supplement of B12. If a person is sick. For other persons who are okay, you can use their spirulina. It is in soybean. If you can get good organic soybean, it is right there. B12 is one of those nutrients. It is in micro quantity that is needed. As a matter of fact, I remember during teaching that we're told that the amount that is used by the body is like the tip of a pin head. And the human body manufactures its own B12. It is done in the stomach. It is also done in your appendix. A lot of times doctors don't know why you have appendix sitting there. It does not work. But it is responsible for ensuring that you get your B12. All right. It is made in your stomach, in your mouth, as long as there's intrinsic factor, a chemical that's needed for making it. But if not, and the person is sick, so that the body is not being is not absorbing nutrients as it should, then I would suggest that the person get a good vegan supplement for that.
Okay. And the last thing was about a complete meal. I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing now. What would that be? Carbohydrate? Can you just give me a complete meal?
You know, this evening, I was hungry that I said, you know what, I'm going to take a picture of my dinner to show my students. But by the time I reached the table, I was so hungry. And then when I was almost finished with it, I said, oh man, I didn't take the picture. I'm sorry. So, all right, so let's look at this.
Cinnamon roll is a part of it, I hope.
No, I could not take anything else. So, all right, so let me tell you what I had. If you're going to, I was having a vegetable meal. Now, when you're doing a vegetable meal, have some raw lettuce, okay? That would be your raw food.
Okay.
I steamed some cabbage and some carrot. I didn't do both of them together. All right, because I wanted to look at the quantity that I was taking in. So I have maybe a half of a cup of steamed carrots, and I had about a cup of steamed cabbage, and I have about a cup of quinoa, all right, and about a quarter cup of scrambled tofu. That was my lunch. So it was a full meal, complete. The only thing I take after that is a handful of nuts. Unfortunately, I didn't take that either. But that would have been it. I honestly don't think I need any extra fat at this moment. I kind of avoided that one. All right, but that's the meal. All right, for breakfast, let me see what was for breakfast. For breakfast, I have what we prepare that is called a flatbread. So it is like a bread except that it is not made with yeast. All right, so I have that one. And then I had the raw food, I think, was plantain, dry plantain instead of dry banana. And some peas, some split peas, I think it was. All right. And that was the meal.
For breakfast?
That was breakfast.
So what's this thing about tofu being, I hear it's good for you, and then I hear it's not good for you, and then I don't know what to do.
Okay. Tofu can not be good for you if you're dealing with certain kind of situation. So like if a person is battling like with cancer or any form of menopausal issues or hormone imbalance, I don't give them tofu. Because tofu has a phytoestrogen that kind of mimic estrogen in the body,
right.
And it might prevent the body from producing as much estrogen as you would need. So I will take away that from the diet. All right. But under normal circumstances, as long as you can find non-GMO, organic tofu or soybean, then you can have that. Tofu is not very hard to make. It's not hard, but it's time consuming. So well, most time I really don't bother with it.
So
I just try to get good ones. Yes?
How often would you eat tofu? Because they say it's concentrated and shouldn't be.
Yeah, right. It is a concentrated form of protein. So even if you're having it, it must not be a lot of it. So that's why if you look at my plate, it would have been the less of everything that I had.
Okay. All right,
that was just like a quarter cup I had. All right. And if you're going to do that, just maybe like once or 2 times for the week. And then the other days I do peas and beans. So I do my peas and beans in different kinds of way. All right. Just to ensure that I get adequate amount of protein.
Interesting.
Yes. We're going to teach you to cook. Never mind. I'm going to show you guys how to prepare the things.
Yes, I did broccoli without oil today when I cooked it for lunch. That was still good. I was like, I can do it without oil, just water. Yeah.
Yeah. You put a little water in the pot and put your seasoning in there.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, here in Jamaica we have
the thyme and all
the very tasty. Nobody would ever know that you didn't have oil in your pot.
Right.
Here in Jamaica we have a health foods, well, a vegetarian vegan restaurant. And at this restaurant we don't use oil. We don't fry our food. And every day you should see the line waiting. The food seller, there's long line waiting for healthy vegan food.
You need to have one in Chicago then.
You're on a lockdown.
We'll let you in. Just tell them what your name is.
Yeah. Okay. I like that one.
Thank you so much. God bless.
You're welcome, my dearest. All right.
Okay, Miss Lee, Jean Lee, you can go ahead and open your mic.
Hi, good evening.
Yes.
You're hearing me now?
Yes,
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Right. I did chemo 12 years ago. And since then I've had pain in the bottom of my feet, including my toes and my fingers. I don't know if you call it neuropathy or whatever. Is there anything you can suggest that I use for that?
Well, you do know that after chemo, you're going to suffer some damages, right?
For sure. I'm still alive, thank God.
Praise be to God, yes. You know, thank God for that. So sometimes the after effects might take literally years to come back. But what I would suggest, did you after that do yourself, did you cleanse your system? Have you been going through a period of like detoxification and all of that?
Well, I do regular washouts. I don't know if you call that detoxification.
No, most times that's what persons do. Washout, and washout is in your colon. But there are many, the organs of elimination must be taken into consideration. So you have your liver, you have your kidneys, you have your lungs, you have your skin, right? I'm leaving out one.
Right.
I'm leaving out one, and I cannot remember. But all your organs of elimination, they must be taken care of. All right. So when you do a detox, so let me go again. The blood must be cleansed. The kidneys must be cleansed. Your liver must be cleansed. Your lungs must be cleansed. And your skin must be cleansed.
Right.
So a lot of time the concentration now is on the colon alone. But in your case, your liver suffered badly.
Definitely.
Suffered badly. So just to put it in a very concise way for you, I try to say the things so that everybody can get what I'm saying and don't use any of the medical term that you might ask again. And what did you say? So let me put it in a way that you will remember. Your liver loves anything that is bitter and sour.
Right. Well, I've used aloe vera with orange juice many times, like regularly.
But are you deliberating that you are detoxing the liver? So during that time, you have to move away from doing any meal and just concentrate on that I'm cleansing the liver. Even when you're cleansing the liver, then you have to massage it. There are certain kind of massage. And during that time, even the water that you're taking. So it is a kind of a process that we can look at outside of here, just so that either one person doesn't take up a lot of time. But I can guide you a little into how you go about ensuring that the liver and the kidney kidneys are being detoxed properly. All right?
All right then. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. There was a question I saw in the Q&A. It said, are you saying that sin disease is because of sin? Was that what the question said? I think something like that. Did you say disease are due to our sins? Depends on how you're looking at it. Disease come because of sin in this world. Christ made us to live forever, disease-free. But sin had come, and because sin came, then we were destroyed and disease could take over. And that is why after sin, God gave man vegetable to help to retain life. All right? And sometimes also our choices, our sinful indulgences cause us to have diseases. So like a person who smokes, that's sin. And that is going to hurt the lung and disease is going to come. A person who drinks alcohol consistently is going to affect you one of these days. All right? The man by the pool, the Lord said, go and sin no more, lest a worse thing come upon you. It was because of sin. All right? Those who live righteous life, like sit down whole night watching TV and not going to bed on time, you are hurting your body. Disease is going to come. You understand? So depends on how you are looking at it. All right? But I think that is what it is saying, that sin can affect our health. All right? And sin has caused disease in this life. All right, next question. No, I see that the numbers are going down in nurse. I still
Yes,
see.
I realize the last person is supposed to be Miss Kit. Miss Taxton, Miss Lola also have questions.
All right, let it be very short so that we can finish, please. It's been a long day.
All right, Miss Hanson Burnett, can you unmute and go ahead with your question, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, Dr. Lamley, I have a question. I have a situation where I keep having a low blood count, significantly low.
All right, Miss Hanson, just a minute. Can you turn down your other device, please? Miss Hanson?
Okay, yes, I am. Are you hearing me better now?
Yes, we are.
Okay, all right. So I have a situation where I'm having low blood count, which goes significantly low to the point where I have to be getting transfusion like every 2 or 3 months. Is there anything that could be recommended to prevent this?
Have you done?
And I basically go ahead.
I was going to ask if have you been doing tests to find out what is going on with you? What test did you run?
I have a medical condition.
Okay, and that might be affecting your liver, the liver's ability to process iron. All right, and to cause the body to produce.
And I'm unable to take iron.
Yes,
I'm unable to take iron, physical iron. That's a problem also. I can have iron from food, but I take iron supplements.
Right. So because the liver is compromised. So look at it. Remember
I was aware of my liver being compromised. It might be, but I've not been told that by any medical doctor.
Yeah, because most of that's not the consent, that's not the line of or the focus. But remember, when we are teaching you something, we are teaching you to look that disease never come without a cause. Right? So the symptoms of what you have to be taking now, that's not the cause of the main thing that you'd have to look if you were somebody who has been taking a lot of medication. Were you on a lot of medication?
Well, yes, for the past few years, because I ended up with high blood pressure. So yes, the past few years. But the condition that they're saying that is causing this is something I was born with.
Oh, okay. But guess what? We always say, and we look at it, we have done studies with persons who have things that they're born with. Apart from should I put it, mechanicals that has interfered with the body. So what we are talking about mechanicals is where you have surgery or something is removed. Apart from that, even the things that we're born with, sometimes we have seen children born with holes in their heart that they say have to have heart transplant, and we have seen them get better. We have seen persons who have a condition that they say, well, it's so born, so that's what, and we have seen them better. So the main area to look, what is causing this? Remember the family I tell you that have this condition, all of them have the same condition going in, right? So therefore, the liver is not doing the work that it should do. So I would think you should spend a little more time looking. I like to study the liver. I love the liver more than any other organ in the body, because I think it works more than any other organ in the body. All right. Okay. So I would think if you can take a little more time with it and look at the things that will help it to function a little better. You understand? So take a little time and do a little detox with it, and give it those things that will strengthen the liver a little more, because the more efficient it works, the better it is to deal with whatever condition might come upon it. Because it is a workhorse of your body. So the more efficient it gets to work, it will be in a better position to handle whatever is thrown at it, for want of a better word. All right.
So Dr. Lemon, what could strengthen the liver?
Look at, have you ever heard of something called camu camu?
Camu camu.
Have you ever heard of camu camu? It's a very potent vitamin C. How
does that spell, doctor?
CAMU. All right, but that is actually it's a very rich vitamin C, and we have seen it work wonders. But the thing is, you might be on other medication, so I would have to know you outside of here what it is that you are taking and what else. But camu camu is really very safe to take. But anything else that I could recommend, it would have to be something I have to know more about you to recommend something. All right?
Okay, doctor.
All right.
All right, thanks. Yes, okay.
Miss Jean Lee, you can go ahead. You can unmute.
I just did, but I spoke already.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yes, I did. Thank
All
you.
right.
Okay.
But Miss Sonia Watson, you can go ahead.
Okay, I had actually placed my question in the chat, but let me just go the cold press cooking oil that we normally use. I remember the presentation that my sister did this morning. She was talking about we're not using any form of oil to prepare our meals. So I normally use the cold press coconut oil when I am preparing my meals. So I wanted to know if it is safe or is it bad for me to use it or what?
It is not that the oil itself is bad, you know. Coconut oil is an excellent oil, and we use it for persons, say they have persons who we want to help them with maybe memory problem or Parkinson's disease or Alzheimer's and those things, we will use it. But what happens is that if you fry foods are very dangerous, right, for your arteries. So that's why we say don't fry anything with your oil. If you're going to use oil, then you maybe just take a little teaspoon or something just to grease the pot so that when you put things in it, it doesn't stick to it, right? But do not cook with the oil. Free use of oil can be damaging. Yes? All right, so that is the reason for it. So it's not the oil that is bad, but it's the usage of it in how we are cooking that's bad.
We were normally told that it was good. It is good for the bad cholesterol that it breaks down when you use it to water. That's what somebody once told me because they were recommended for people with prostate problems, saying that they could take like a tablespoon of it and it will assist their prostate. So
right, but if that is the cold press and the cold press extra virgin coconut oil that has not gone through any processes. All right.
Yeah,
but when you cook with it, it would have changed. It would have changed. So that's why you say don't eat up your oil and then put things in the pot that way. So that medicinally you can take your coconut oil is excellent for conditions that you are treating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Miss Kit, you can go ahead, unmute.
Yes, Dr. Lamley, sorry, I had asked the question earlier about my finger and you told me to take the charcoal at night and then the warm water. And I had mentioned that I take the warm lemon water in the morning. I was just thinking the warm lemon water, is it not a detoxifier as well with the charcoal? So I'm thinking, would that be double detoxifying?
No. You can't do that. What you do when you take the charcoal and it has taken all the toxins onto itself, you need that nice lemon water to flush it from the system.
Flush it. Okay, that's what I needed some clarification on. No problem. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Miss Thaxter, you can go ahead and unmute.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Dr. Lamley and your team, you guys have been doing a tremendous job. Honestly, I've been learning so many things. Wow, I just want to change my entire household. I know it's going to be especially with my husband who I'm trying to get him on the healthier side, but it has been a challenge. And my children, and it's funny, my children literally, I realized they were not even, they didn't eat a lot of meat. And I was the one who introduced and forced them to eat meat. And now I am actually I'm paying for that. So I'm now learning. But my question though, Dr. Lamley, my daughter, she has this problem with her hair. I don't know the scalp is so sensitive. I don't know if it's a problem. Like it's hard for me to comb her hair. Even today while I'm watching the presentation, I had to be stopping every minute because to comb the hair, it's a problem. It doesn't matter what I do. She cries for the hair. I don't know how to comb the hair. And I just want to know what is your, what can you recommend and
So is it the hair or is it the scalp? The scalp itself, you say it's tender.
Yes, the scalp. I think sometimes for me, I think she's overreacting, but persons have told me already that no, she is not. And she telling me like it seems as if the hair is literally coming off the scalp. So I'm not sure.
Is
I've
there any,
never
can you see any flakes or anything in her hair, on her scalp?
no, no.
Yeah. Well, I had a niece who you could not touch her head at all. You touch it, even to massage it, and she'd scream her head off. So
Yes.
she just didn't want, like, when nobody touched it, she said it hurt. So that was her. So apart from her being like that, if there was some physical manifestation that you could see, then at least we could know what is going on, because sometimes they have allergies, and it works itself out through the hair. So if the hair is not falling out, there's no dandruff on the scalp, there is nothing going on, then sometimes it just can't be that a food allergy might be going on in the system, all right? That just acted up itself. So she loves sugar?
If she, sorry, I didn't hear that.
Does she love sugar? Does she love sweet things?
Yes, yeah, I think so. She does. And I think too the hair is very brittle and dry and to
Ah, all
it,
right.
yeah.
How old is she?
She's 10 years old.
We need to
Um,
change it.
the thing is that when I just had her, because she's from like her family is like Indian descent, so it's like a mixture of I'm black, her father is mixed, and the hair was very soft, and now it gets in more on the kinkier side, and it's now really dry. So you find like different texture within the hair itself. So you find like little straight strands, then some bigger curl, then some very tight, dry. So it's like that type of hair, matted. It keeps shrinking. So and then it doesn't matter how I try to comb. She would say that the scalp it really hurts.
All right. So you know what? That is showing you, because you see your hair is an outgrowth from your body, right? From your scalp. It gets its life from beneath the scalp, right?
Right.
So listen now. Anytime you see things happening to your hair, it is telling you the state of your health. And I'm thinking, you see that little one, enough water, she need to increase her water intake, and you need to get rid of that sugar out of that little girl's diet.
Dr. Lamley, it seems as if you're living in my house because I was just about to tell you I have a problem with her not drinking water. She doesn't like water. And the thing is that I have moved away now I'm now doing more room temp water. And she says she doesn't like it. It has to be cold and she doesn't want to drink the water. It just a sip.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time with her drinking water.
Yes, ma'am. So that is why she's suffering for it now. Because you know what is happening to the cells? The cells, remember, the water is one thing that keep the cell flaccid, keep the nice round shape of the cell. And now that she's not getting it, that the body is becoming very dehydrated. And the sugar in her diet takes a lot of water from her system. Right? So the hair is now showing that the body is lacking nutrients. Because when the water is not, it's the water that carries the nutrients, that makes the blood thin enough to take the nutrients, right? So, my dear, you have your work to do. You'll have to put some things in your head. Understand?
Okay.
So even if you go to the doctor and anything, that there's hardly anything they can do for you, because they are going to understand that this nutritional part of it that is affecting the child. So it's more home care, parental care, than medication or anything that you can do. In the meantime, though, I would suggest to you that to help her, because her diet is compromised. Um, do you know there's a supplement that is called Children's Complete?
Children's Complete?
Which area you at?
I'm in Montego Bay.
All right, so you're far away from that side. Maybe it would have been manageable. Children's Complete, that would have helped you a great deal. All right. After that, you have my number. You can give me a call.
Yeah, okay, Doc. Okay. And Doc, how do I get her to drink the water though? Like how can I help her along that way?
All right. You know what I think where children are concerned is education. If you try to argue with them about drinking it and then sometimes not drinking water, you're just going to have further away. So you show, you do education, you watch little videos with our children are into this age where everything seems to be centered around what they can see. So you just sit down together and watch water. The importance of water to the body. You know?
Okay.
Yes, the detriment of sugar, what sugar does to the body. You know those and as you educate, that you'll find that it should start breaking down. Because the children are smart, really smart. But they're not things, so I can tell you, right?
Yes. Yes.
And now she learned. So many years, I keep telling her, keep teaching her the things, right?
Yes.
And as time go by, then she's completely done now, and she doesn't she's not attracted by the other things because one day she told me recently she said she was at school before the lockdown and she ordered lunch and they gave her lunch with chicken was in. And she said, Mommy, the chicken was right there now. And my man said, you know what? Eat the chicken because that's what you get. But then I look at it and I say, you know what? I'm not going to eat it. Next thing my body going toxic shock because it's not used to it. So next thing something happened to me, you know? Because what? She has been educated over the years about, how the body works. So a lot of education can go into the rearing of our children. But don't try to head with her, trying to teach it, be dogmatic about it because you'll come out the loser.
Right.
You
So,
will.
so Doc, should I give her the cold water? Since you like the cold water, just leave her with the cold water for now and then take my time.
Please let her, please. It better she take it cold than not any at all. I would not tell anybody, and I'm a national thing saying this, but I'd rather that she take some cold than not drink any at all, honestly. Because
Okay, Doc.
it's going to hurt her even more. You
Yes.
understand? It's going
Yes.
to hurt her. But you just continue with the education. And you
Okay.
pray a lot and allow the Lord now to lead you. All
Yes,
right?
Doc. Yes, Doc. And
All
I'll
right. So we have,
call you
yeah?
privately. I'll call you privately. Thank you so much, Doc.
You're most welcome. And we have one last question. Before we take the last one, nurse, there was somebody was asking that when they exercise, they recognize that the inside the house, the skin doesn't itch. But once they go outside and exercise, then the skin starts itching. Now, you know what that is called? It is because in the Trinidadians, they would normally call it not 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 blood or not whole blood or something. What it is saying is that blood is reaching into areas where blood has not been able to flow. Oxygen is getting into the blood. So that's why it is happening to you. So it is a very good thing. So continue doing it. All right. Eventually, it will stop. All right. And one last question, please, and then we close off. We have had a long day.
Miss Clary, Rosalind Clary, you can unmute and go ahead with your question.
Yes, good evening, Dr. Lamley. Hello.
Yes, and I'm hearing you. Good evening.
Yes, good evening. I really appreciate the presentations, and I've been making small changes, 2 meals a day, and introducing it to my family also. So I'm very grateful. But one of the presentation where the lady spoke about the use of coconut milk, and that she had even said that it's best to even use it once per month or something like that. But I have an aged mother that I make porridge for in the mornings, and that is something that I use, each morning. So I am having a challenge now to know what to use, in the space of the coconut milk in order to make her porridge. Based on what she said about the high cholesterol.
It's not that it is in milk. One of these days in our class, I'm going to show you how to make milk. I use pumpkin seed to make milk. I use sunflower seed make milk. I use sesame seed is one of the best milk you could ever drink. I also, and she's not saying that you cut out coconut milk completely. It's saying that you're going to be controlling it. So in case one day you can use this, another day you use that, so that you will be more balanced in what you're doing. But if you make for sure every day and she's taking coconut milk every day, that's not good. You understand? So, yeah, man, sesame seed make excellent milk, and it is rich in calcium more than if you had made it with give her coconut milk or other kind of milk. All right.
So you just blend it out and use it as it is, or you strain it.
So you take 1 cup. For myself, if I'm making it for myself, I don't strain it. I take everything. But if I'm doing it like for my daughters, I would have to strain it because she's not going to take that grit. So you just take I use 1/4 cup of sesame seed or whichever of the seed, and with 1 cup of water, and you'll just blend them nice and rich. I put a little pink Himalayan salt. If I'm going to be taking it as milk like that to add oats to it, then I put maybe a few dates in it and have a little pink salt or a little honey. And that, my dearest, is milk at its highest order. So each year you can do them, you can use it, you can do all this. You can let me tell you the one that make good milk. Sesame seed, sunflower seed, pumpkin seed, and cashew.
Okay, so I can try. All right, thank you very much.
Yes, that was our last question.
All right, so beautiful. So did we serve you well, guys? Were you well informed? Are you happy that the day was spent? Are we okay? You can open them. You can. They're free now, nurse, and can be opened.
Please understand that it's not a question and answer session.
They were in prison long enough, so they can be free now. Everybody can talk. All right. Nurse, you can stop your recording.
Go ahead. Yes, if we can. Yes, I'm